for allowing us 55 years of working intensely as a group. We want to thank and remember all of our sky pilots who are no longer with us here, but are with us every day, to our founders, to the original members, to those who joined, to the mentees, the wannabes, the has-beens, and we want to give thanks and recognize Manuel today. So Manuel, we want to thank you on behalf of this is from the whole group and especially the artist wing of the R.C.A.F. We want to honor you that you work so hard and diligently and that you have been true to the spirit of the R.C.A.F. It's not about you, but it's about all of us. And that want to honor your mentor, Ricardo Padilla, who you have been true to. And so with that said, give him a big round of applause. He's shy. So, in the context of what we're doing, it's been 55 years of a journey, of an effort, of a force of nature that we've been blessed to be a part of here in Sacramento. We are norteños, proud of where we come from and where we live. We can breathe in the valley, the fields, the dust all around us. We used to laugh and say, we look up at the city from the valley floor, and we're going to walk to the heart of that center, and we're going to take it. And I think we have in spirit and in creativity. I want to introduce the context of why we're here tonight. 55 years, and this is a, do you know what an opening is? I don't. You know, I've been going to them for 50 years now, and we're opening. Opening what? Wine and cheese. And when you look around, there's some seriousness all around us. You know, we have things to do. So this is an opening. We're opening the door, a portal, a pathway, a gate to something for those who have the courage to walk forward. I'm not talking about tomorrow. I'm not talking when you win the lottery. I'm not talking about when everything is right. Revolutionary change happens in the mind first. Let's make up our mind tonight. We're not going to be the same. With this gathering and this union, we're not the same anymore. If we leave here and we just keep doing the same old thing, that's crazy. We're here to do something now. And in doing that, I want to introduce Teresita Romo in the new effort that we're working in the new digital platform. Tere.
Thank you, Stan. I do want to thank the Verge for all of the support and for accepting the invitation to do an exhibition as part of the regional celebration called Information, which we started last year with for those of you who haven't seen, the Sacramento History Museum exhibition. It's 50 years of Dia de los Muertos, which we celebrated it last year. In 1975, we started Dia de los Muertos here in Sacramento region, and it's the oldest in the region. It's still going, and a lot of it is volunteer efforts. And I want to acknowledge Lupe Portillo, who's here with us tonight. She was here, the very first one, has continued it through her family and creates the community altar every year for it. So Lupe, thank you. I also want to thank especially the artists, because obviously we wouldn't all be here without them and their artwork. And so I'm hoping that all of the artworks, all of the artists both RCAF and then those influenced can step up here so all of you can see them, because I know they don't have name tags and a lot of you don't know them, but if they could just kind of come up here to the front, please.
Come up here.
Yes, yes. I also want to recognize Phil Fredna. Phil is an R.C.A.F. member. His dad, the late mayor, was a big R.C.A.F. member and left quite a legacy here in Sacramento and beyond. So thank you, Phil, for being here. And as I said, this is an exhibition that's part of a larger regional celebration called Information, a celebration of the R.C.A.F. And we called it that because the allusion to information as in, the airplanes flying in conjunction with each other. But we also like the aspect of information, of sharing knowledge with others about the artists and the artworks and the 55 years that Stan mentioned. So for those of you who don't know about it, we have a website, and it was all, we organized it under La Raza Galeria Posada, which some of you remember used to exist. And we have revised it. So we have a new website that we launched, and we're focused very much on the information activities. So if you go to www and then .lrgp, wanted to keep it simple, .org. You can find out more information about this exhibition and also the one that, like I mentioned, at the Sacramento History Museum, which is going through April 4th. And then Sacramento State University Library Gallery is going to do an exhibition on the R.C.A.F. murals that opens next month, as well as an exhibition that I'm curating on the R.C.A.F. posters, which opens on February 22nd. And then we have, and I want to make sure I didn't forget anybody, but the SMUD Art Gallery, KVIE is going to be broadcasting the film that they did on the R.C.A.F., plus some others that have to do with art and activism. The Coneco Gallery at American River College is doing an exhibition on Armando Cid. The Sacramento Poetry Center will be having a night of poetry. Blue Line Arts in Roseville has an exhibition of Lorraine Garcia Nakata's work. And then the California State Library will have programs along with SMUD Art Gallery, which opens their exhibition next week. And then they're going to have a closing on April 1st. Washington Neighborhood Center, the Taller Arte de Nuevo Amanecer, otherwise known as Tana in Woodland. The Manetti Shrem Museum, Soul Collective, and then Machetes. So I hope you visit the website so you can learn more about the project, and also keep checking it because we're adding programs all the time. So I'm going to turn it over to Stan. Cool. Thank you.
So in case you didn't know, my name is Stan Padilla. I have been an artist. I've been marrying, bearing, caring for, and ministering to, and healing in the R.C.A.F. for several decades now. And it's been an honor, and it's been a pleasure, and it's been a struggle. We're a force of nature. The group, especially the artist wing, we're all alpha artists, very strong-minded and strong-willed, but we cooperated for the betterment of something bigger than ourselves. At the time, we sort of gave our own professional careers and climbing the social and the colonial ladder away, and we gave our art to the community where it belongs. That's to all of you. And we have served it. And we have served it through the Centro de Artistas Chicanos. Most people are not aware of. La Raza Galeria Posada. Help me. Breakfast for Niños program.
Chicanito Science Project, CSUS.
The science project?
Freddie's band.
Freddie's band. The ceremonios, the traditional ceremonies returning. And I don't know if you know, began at Southside Park, began here in Sacramento, and have spread out like a renaissance. What other programs? What else do we do? Yes.
Body art program.
Body arts program, youth programs, science programs, incarceration programs, summer schools. Then there were the muralists, doing the murals. So it's been a very diverse way. So in moving forward, I, for one, I appreciate all the accolades. I appreciate everything. My interest is in moving forward. Where do we go from here? All of us. Where are we going? How are we going to keep ourselves together? What are we going to do? What's the trajectory? The OG, we probably have, that much time ahead of us. But the rest of you, especially the young artists, it's your turn. And I hear, oh, we're emerging artists. You're in your 50s. You're as old now as we were then. So where are we going? Where are you going to lead us? And so I'm going to pass it on to Lorraine now.
Thank you, Stan. Yes, my name is Lorraine Garcia Nakata, and I wanted to speak about a couple of things. And one is, to begin with, the R.C.A.F. for me has been familia. And like familias, it has its moments, but it also, it has a long history. With familia, you also have the next generation, which is what Stan was speaking to. One of the things, myself as an artist, I knew at 5 years old that that was what I was going to do. I don't know how I knew that, I just knew it was what I was going to do. And that was 1955. In 1963, 64, I'm freshman in high school, I committed to a life of being an artist, and then was exhibiting in 1968 when I graduated from high school. I came to, and as you know, the 60s came, a lot of people's heads were opened up about humanity, about the environment, about the imbalance and inequity in terms of the financing, the war machine, all of that you know about. And then, I used to spend a lot of time in San Francisco auditing and listening to people older than myself when I was like 14, 13, 16. And so it really set a groundwork for understanding what community really is. When Esteban Villa and Jose and my older brother Carlos, invited me to come to their house in 1973, that was when I became part of the Royal Chicano Air Force. And then it was not, maybe in 1977 when Stan and I and Jose and a lot of people that are no longer with us. Stan and I are the last remaining people that painted the South Side mural. So in 77, yes, that's what happened. So what I'm saying to everyone here, as well as the young people, is that what I want to speak to about the art, it's not just beautiful and it's not just visually powerful, but for me, it is a way, each time I do a piece, it tells me something I need to know. So when you think about what art is really about, it's about transformation, and it's sort of this trajectory through your whole life of transformation. And what I mean by that is that your challenges, your pain, your descansos, you actually take those and transform them into clarity and wisdom. And that's really kind of what it's really in the end all about, and which is why whether you're doing writing or dancing or raising children or teaching, it's how you approach it. And so it's all artistry. And so it doesn't just have to be the artist, even though it's not easy being an artist and claiming a role in that, especially I will say it out loud as a woman. To actually say that you're going to be an artist for life is a political act. There's a lot of pushback because of that. But I want to encourage the young people coming up that are thinking about doing art, are doing art, that may have questions, that have the imposter syndrome, that you came in this life to do something, and if you have the passion to do art or to be creative, don't second guess yourself, just do it. Because it's not only important for you, but it's important because when we do art, like when you're out there experiencing the art, when you're creating the art, you're actually lifting the energy that we all need. Like we are all here together and we're lifting each other's energy because we need that to be able to have the wisdom, the strength, and the clarity to be able to go out and navigate, especially right now where things are really completely imbalanced. And so I would just say to all of you, yes, we're here and we've been doing the work, and they're amazing in terms of pulling all this together, and Manuel and Chase putting this exhibit. But we also are depending on your energy and your clarity and your wisdom, that when you leave this space, you are shifted and changed, because we actually shift and change each other, and that's the nature of what community is, and that's the nature of why we do art and why it's important to do it. It is not just the beauty, it's actually, it shifts things. So I will leave you with that. And I want to just applaud all of you for making time out of your busy lives to be able to come here and to come together. It's like ceremony, and we need that, all of us. So thank you so much.
I was asked if I wanted to say something, and I said no. Then they gave me a mixophone, and I'm ready. Just quickly, it's a footnote to what was already announced. The Esteban Villa exhibit, myself and Esteban Villa have a show opening next week at the Smud Gallery. And then I'm standing next to Phil, who's a generation following his dad and us and all of that. And I just wanted to let you know as a footnote, the closing of that show, Esteban Villa and myself, will be our sons speaking on the topic of growing up in the circle. And but in the circle, besides Phil and my sons who are here, the Rudy girls, as we call them, we're part of this circle. And Mountain Lion was part of the circle. I'm going to forget, you know what happens when you get in front. I forgot to say. Anyway, if you think of Jose's children, the Montoyas, and they have continued. What? No, I said there's 7. Anyway, and did I say my sons? Yeah. Anyway, so lrgp.org will give you the details of these events. But I just wanted to point out that these generational things, they're here. I mean, Chico was just a young kid at one time. Now look at him. Anyway, and the others who are here, they need to be honored, recognized. They're certainly embraced by us. They are part of us. And I know I forgot somebody's kids in the process. Juan Cervantes' daughter is here. Jed, thanks for pointing out not only Freddie, but the whole band, they all exist, including you. What? Anyway, the band, yeah, you gotta recognize the band. Yeah, I was there. Okay, that's it. I'm over and I'm out. Maybe.
I'll keep my comments brief, as I wasn't expecting to be up there in the presence of some of the people that I've looked up to my entire life as not just incredible artists and incredible friends, but as was stated earlier, family members. I guess what I would like to impart tonight is, while we're reflecting on client information and looking forward, as Stan has said he's prepared to do and is doing, and suspect much of this room is prepared to do. Let's not forget too that the R.C.A.F. It's not just a collective of artists. It never has been just a collective of artists. It was a collection of people who certainly their profession, their love is art in various forms, whether it be visual, musical, theatrical, but it was also the merging and the connection with activism. And it came at a time in the late 60s, early 70s, and we all are very familiar with everything that was going on, all the tumult in the world, whether it be Vietnam or post-civil rights era, continuing to groom that legacy of civil rights, farm worker rights especially. I would argue today, as the only politician up here, that we need to double down, triple down in terms of not just celebrating the connection between art and activism as it has been so rightfully and profoundly nurtured here in Sacramento, in California, in the Western United States, across this country, by way of these people to my left and those of you out here that are also part of the R.C.A.F. But now is that time again. We saw what happened just a couple of days ago. And I would just ask that all of you take away from tonight just a rightful appreciation of tremendous amount of beautiful, wonderful art that captivates us, that celebrates our culture, celebrates our challenges, celebrates the people that we love. But take away from tonight a recommitment to yourselves to be as active, if not more so, than what in part gave birth to the R.C.A.F. in the first place. Thank you.
I'd like to just say thank you so much for being here. It's very important that you be here. If not, we won't be here. Right? I mean, and I just want to make one, Eric, can I borrow you for a moment? It's very important that we vote. And I'm throwing the hat in for Eric. Right here. This guy was there by himself on that council when all those people, those ladies from El Dorado Hills and stuff like that were firing on him. And he held his ground. But anyway, good luck and
Sí se puede.
sí se puede, right. Oh, let's give him the union handshake. Supervisor. Well, not yet. All right, so what's the, the other one was, I wanted to mention that Juanita Polendo called me up and says, hey, make sure you mention she said she couldn't make it because she's not feeling well. And the other one is Louis the Foot, my compadre. He couldn't make it because he's taking care of his brother who's not feeling very well. So, you know, there's a lot of people that are missing for one reason or another. And I wanted to present Manuel, this fresh off the press hat, the new R.C.A.F. cap. Gold embroidery. There you go. Manuel, thank you for everything. He called me up and he says, hey, I'm putting together this show. I said, are you serious? You're asking me? You know, because there's a lot of people that, I'm not gonna say they're better than me or less than me, because we're all one family. I just wanna thank other people like Hema Godinez. Can you step up just for a second? She's the principal of the Washington Center, and she's put that thing school, elementary school. You know, that's still my, we're not done yet. Say a few words.
I'm just really honored to be here.
The 50th anniversary.
Yeah. 50 years ago, the R.C.A.F. made a poster for Washington Elementary School when it reopened in 1976 here in Alkali Flats. And I asked Rudy to make a commemorative poster for 2026 because the building itself is turning 50 years old. So I'm just really honored to give the R.C.A.F. its place at my elementary school because it's part of the school, it's part of the fabric of the community.
I am. I'm supposed to be working on a poster. All right, with that said, I just want to say one last thing, okay?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I know, everybody wants to go. We're gonna go light a candle after I'm done, out here in the back. Those of you that can't deal with it. No. If you can't deal with it, stay over here. But, where is my, oh, here. Let me just read a little small quote. It's an Irish quote, okay? So don't feel offended. There are good ships and wood ships. Ships that sail the sea, but the best ships are friendships, and may they always be. Amen. So with that said, I'll leave Celia. And then we'll go outside, those of you that want to.
Buenas tardes,
Ruby.
Buenas noches, yes, noches. Well, I haven't been home in about 39 years. My son reminded me the other day, so I'm home. And I'm really happy to be here today and to have my work included in the show. And one of the things that struck me as I'm standing here was, I was remembering that we talked about the political and Jose and Esteban and the política, pero, and also the things that we learned from them. For me, Jose reminded me to remember home, that community is where the knowledge is, that the institution is where we show up and we meet each other and we come back, to our communities and do that work there, because there's much to know within our communities. And also, it reminded me that, sometimes we focus, you're talking about focusing on those that are the most successful, the most, I always say, the most assimilated, that know how to sit in their chairs and behave themselves, that get along in the world. But he also remembers those that kept falling off their chairs, kept bouncing off their chairs, kept running off their chairs, and asked us to remember those that are engaged, that are still present, and are in resistance, because there's something to know from them as well. And maybe the most important thing also, has to do with the humor, Jose's humor, who I miss tremendously. I miss the poetry, I miss the resonance of the voice, I miss that voice that we came up in, and I would like for it to remain present in our experiences. And I want to say that, I want to include something for myself, which is the teaching. that, you know, we got sent off to teach, and I know we talk about Sacramento, but I'm kind of the rogue artist, you know. I have to admit that publicly. Sometimes con vergüenza, sometimes with a lot of pride. You know, so the rogue artist, and then I'm the queer artist, you know, I'm the artist that, you know, flew off to do other work. And I'm very proud of that work, culminating with Las Maestras Center for Chicana Indigenous Art, Thought, Art, and Social Praxis, which is still going strong, and hopefully at at Berkeley. Yes, I'm all confused over here. I want to introduce Jesus, you know, who's now at Berkeley in Chicano Studies, and I just came off of Chicano Studies at UCSB. You know, very proud to have been one of the artists trained here within Chicano Studies to continue our work as artists in Chicano Studies, Chicanx Studies. You know, it's been a long route, and artists have always been present in the cultura, the poets and the writers and the art makers. And so I want to speak for them, all of them that, you know, don't often get that, you know, recognition for all the work that they've done in the last 50 years. And I want to say thank you to them, because whoever shows up in the classroom, you know, remembers then that they belong to a community. And especially now that we have to remember what our purpose is. And thank you, Stan, for reminding us about our purpose, because I think about it every day, every step we take, that it isn't about tomorrow, it's about today, how it is that we show up and what it is the work that we do. And I'm very proud to be part of that movement. And so I thank you for coming today. I thank all of you. I'm looking forward to reigniting that fire that we had, you know, at some point. All of you, por favor, glad to be home. Gracias.
Good evening, everyone. Let me just throw away my gum because I shouldn't be talking with gum in my mouth. Okay. My name is Ruby Chacon. Thank you for coming out. I'm a little bit nervous because I didn't know I was going to say a few words, but Lorraine encouraged me to come up and speak on behalf of the next generation. Or I don't know if some of you are going to come up and talk as well, but as part of the next generation, I kind of came at knowing and having the privilege of being being inspired by the R.C.A.F. from a different direction. I came from a lonely kind of like cultural desert from Utah, and this was like 13, 12 years ago, I can't remember, but it was really, my spirit was almost dying inside. And the first time I came here, I came and had an exhibit with Soul Collective, and then Hector told me about Lorraine, and I went and spoke with Lorraine, and I still remember what she told me. You need to, you're doing a lot for your community. If your community was a bucket of water, that bucket of water is clear. But if you put in a bright pigment into that bucket, that's you trying to fight for your community. It's going to disappear unless you, so you're going to have, so that if you get too lost in the struggle, then you're not going to be able to help your community. So you got to really be able to feed your own spirit, so you can really make that bucket of water colorful and bright, so we can all shine together. And that always stayed with me. So I did have the privilege to be able to come and move here, and then Malachias mentored me to make silk screens. I met Hector Gonzalez. I got to meet Juan Carrillo. Everybody here on this stage. So I just feel so fortunate to be able to be in the presence of greatness, and be able to have the honor to be able to show alongside all of you who have inspired us for generations, even somebody lonely in a cultural desert like Utah. And so if you feel like if you're a generation behind me, and you're feeling like you want to be an artist as well, and you feel like you're alone, remember, you have us to stand on. So just like I did when I came here and I was able to speak with Lorraine and be mentored by Malaquias and a lot of people in different ways, you have us, just remember that. And we were always willing to be there for your source of support and feed your soul when you feel like you don't have anyone. So, and especially during these times of trauma that is being impacted on our community. This is the time when we really need to have that creativity and be able to use that to inspire our community and nurture it and love it, and so we can move forward together as a collective and be able to be able to move forward with joy and peace and love of which we are inside. So I hope that made sense. I was really nervous, so thank you for being gracious and listening to me.
A lot, and yeah, when I came here, when I first came here to SAC, a lot of people call me Chico because that is the name that I have coming from the neighborhood. So I can tell who I have known for 30 or 40 years if they found Chico. But at one point, when I felt that I was mature enough, I was like, oh no, I'm gonna go by my regular name. I'm not 16 years old anymore. I'm gonna mention two things very random, so they're not gonna be in any kind of, it's not gonna follow any kind of narrative or chronology. One is that the older I get, the more I run into people younger or older, but in this case, I'm going to say this. At this point, I am older than when I first met any of you guys. I mean, actually, back in the early 80s, and I still feel secondly, to say that the R.C.A.F. had an impact on me it would be a total understatement. The first time that I heard or said that, it completely blew me away. Not because he spoke so eloquently, but because the ability of Jose to go back and forth in an academic setting, a political setting, and then being from like a regular actor on the neighborhood. And I have never seen anybody do that. Thank you very much for the opportunity and the opportunity that you guys have to create art. Gracias. Gracias.
I'm Jesus Barraza, one of the artists, one of the young artists, even though I'm still 39, so I'm almost there. But I'm one of the artists that's not necessarily connected to the R.C.A.F. here in town, but since I was young, I remember looking at their work, and probably as a high school kid, seeing it in the CARA exhibit catalog, and so for me, it's especially as becoming a screen print artist, it was like the R.C.A.F. they were the ones. They were the ones who made all the really cool shit. And so to me now, hear Celia talk about this idea of education, right? As we were supposed to be sent out to teach, that's what I always saw my role, right? Now as a professor, I really love that. But to me, I think the biggest thing that has come from the R.C.A.F. is learning about what is social practice, this idea of the body art workshop, all these things that the R.C.A.F. Did that were just trailblazing, whether it was the danza and the cultural committee and bringing us our culture in the posters that were bringing that, right? The portals as Stan was talking about, all of that to me. And so although I've been kind of far from the R.C.A.F., I've been lucky to have Rudy, who has been like a Theo to me, one of the screen printing Theos, the first ones that I met, and Celia, who has been my maestra now like 15 years. And I just want to say that I'm very lucky in some way to have been touched by the teachings of the R.C.A.F. and everything that came down. And I just, again, I want to thank Dennis for giving me an opportunity to be part of the catalog, but really to give her thanks for the catalog, because the exhibit that's coming up and the catalog she put together is really the first time that we're getting a book about the R.C.A.F. and it's something that's way overdue, but it's really amazing, and I can't wait to read all of it. So thank you all.
All right, so one last thing before we wrap it up. On a personal note, I really love to, there's a lot of artists in here today, and for all you artists, I know that if you have a partner, sometimes your artwork could end up being your mistress, and it can take up a lot of your time. So I want to take this minute to just give my appreciation to my wife, Celia Vera, you can, Vera Rios. It's because of her I had the amount of time to put the work into curating this show. And babe, I love you. With that being said, we're gonna go ahead and we can all start to enjoy the show again. Thanks again to the R.C.A.F. and the artists who were invited to show with them. Much appreciated.
Let's light it up.
Now, the R.C.A.F. is gonna take a group photo. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the show.